I want to talk about the topic of God today and how He's played a role in my life and how He's made me the person I am. And I think my mom's death had a big role to play in that, because after she died, I was I was shocked. I was like, I knew people died, obviously, but I, I, I kind of grasped the concept, but I didn't really know until it happened to me. And I was like, yo, this is real. This is real life. And she's just gone. She's not coming back. And now I can talk about it and not start crying, which I couldn't do for a long time. But I've grown, and I can talk about it and share my story with other people. But yeah, I think her death made me mature a lot, and it definitely brought me closer to God. Not sure if at first it was out of fear, because I was freshly 11, just a couple months, and I was like, what happens when I die? And I was just freaking out, and I just went to whatever was most familiar, because I grew up in a Catholic household, on my mom's side at least, and all of our family on that side, very Catholic, went to church every Sunday. And during the last couple, it's like last year or months leading up to my mom's death, she got a lot closer with God, and she got very close to Him. Now, I'm not sure if I was out of fear or what it was, but I don't know, that it kind of brought to my attention God more than it did ever in the previous parts of my life, because I just saw church as something I had to go to because Mom said. But yeah, after she passed, I would talk to God. I wasn't really sure how, but I would just try. And I remember I did like my confirmation and everything. And that's kind of when I started kind of trying to change my behaviors. And not to say that I was perfect, I definitely still made a lot of mistakes. But I took into account God in all of my actions. And over the years, it played a bigger and bigger role in my actions, and now I am who I am today. But yeah, so now I really take into account, is this serving God? Is this serving me? And is this serving other people? If it's doing anything other than that, then I probably shouldn't do it. If it's vaping, probably shouldn't do it. If it's saying something mean, probably shouldn't do it. And again, not to say that I'm perfect, but I really try. And every time I do slip up, I do feel bad about it. And I see that as a good thing, because it makes me a better human, makes me more pleasant to be around if I'm not just being a total dick. And there are some people that I am more mean to than others, and I'm really trying to work on that. Also really trying to work on my cussing, which I've been doing pretty good, but I do still slip up sometimes. But sorry, I got a little off topic. So now I talk to God a lot, and I think that He talks to me through me. I remember one time I was sitting at what I call Howell's Point, and it's like on this little cliff, or like this rock that has a little cliff that you can sit on, and the waves were just splashing, and I was thinking about how I'm moving, and I was like, God, I'm not ready. What am I gonna do? I'm not gonna know anybody. And and then in my head, I was like, you're never gonna be ready. You're always gonna want to stay here unless, like, you're not gonna want to go. And change is good. Change is necessary. And I realized that, and I said, I know change is necessary, but like, no, not this change, not this change. And then I was like, if it's really my time to go, then splash me on the top of the head. And the waves, it took a second, but the waves crashed and it all splashed on me. And I was like, well, and you could call me crazy and just being like, oh, that's not God, that's just nature, that's just the waves. But whether or not it was God, it made me come to terms with my situation, and it made me feel better about it. So the way that I view God is, it could be all made up, it could not be real, but it's made me a much better human. It's made me much more enjoyable to be around, and improved the quality of my life so much. Sometimes I do things for God and not even for me, but I show up for Him, and I end up getting amazing things out of it. So every time I do something for God, something way better comes back to me. And I actually remember another time, I think it was after I binge ate. I was like, or no, it was a day that I was just really not doing anything. I was being lazy. I was just scrolling. I was just throwing my day away. And I was like, talking to God. I was like, God, I'm sorry. And I was like, I'm being a bad son. And I was just talking to Him because I didn't talk to Him. And literally, I kid you not, 20 seconds later, because I was just alone, I was just like, I don't know what to do. I'm sorry. I just felt helpless. And like 20, 30 seconds later, someone drives by that I know, and God gave me my favorite gift, my favorite thing in this world, which is human connection. He gave me someone instantly. And I was like, whoa. I was like, that's crazy. So it's just these little things that happen that make me believe. And they could be coincidence. They could, it could just not be real. And I don't know, because we don't 100% know. But I like to believe that he's real because it makes me a better person. It makes me do hard things. It makes me want to be better and not just sit around all day. And every time I love him, I love others, I feel a lot better. Every time I stop being self-centered and do something for others, it kind of just grounds me and shows me that there's more to life than just what I thought was so big in the moment that was bothering me. But yeah. And I'm very not educated in all the details of religion, but I think that there is something out there of a higher power that created us, and I am glad that I can talk to him, and he can talk to me in ways and teach me lessons in ways that I don't quite understand in the moment, but I know it will all make sense because it always does. So, yeah. Thank you for listening to the app.